2022 is almost over and we are here. We're still standing. Oh, hallelujah. It's been a year of ups and downs. It's been a year of new beginnings. It's been a year of shutting doors. It's been a year of, oh my word, what the heck is happening right now? It's been a good year. And I will say that because when I look at everything, when I balance everything, the main thing that stays is I'm still standing. We are still standing. If you're watching this, we are still standing. I saw recently, I was looking for something and this guy started his video on YouTube saying, if you're watching this in the future, that means you made it. And we made it. We made it through COVID. We made it through whatever the year threw at us. We are still standing and we're going to do a wrap up now. Welcome to Coffee with Temi. So where do I start from? There has been some things that are totally absurd and some things that I'm going to go back on, and I'll say that because I went through, so I was doing some stuff. I went through some of my recordings from the beginning, and I've got to eat my words, and I will do that. I will eat my words because it's just right that if I've said something before and now I'm being corrected by myself because things have changed, and I'll just go, and then we'll look at the word of the year. The word of the year in 3 or 4 dictionaries are all different, obviously, but some of them I thought, really, this is the word of the year, and I'm going to go through. Are we going to go through that now? Maybe we should start with the silliness or end with the silliness. Let me start with something serious. This year, for me, at least, I don't know. I made in the beginning of the year, I said, let's do something new. Let's make our mind to maybe help other people, make our minds to, just reach out to the community. And this year, I like to think that I've grown. I've been privileged to be part of some master classes with Pastor Tim Grage. And some of them were not for me in like maybe the relationship ones, because I'm not in a relationship, but I have learned to use some of the things the tools that I've learned in other ways. And some of them have really been an eye-opener to see myself. One, let me clap for myself. So I started a podcast this year, for those of you who don't know, and I am amazed at the reach that I've been able to get to the countries. The beginner, I will count every day. Oh, am I in this place? Am I in that place? And I am so proud of myself because I didn't think I could do it. I don't have the numbers. I'm not viral yet, but I am reaching people. I am helping people, I hope. And I have to say thank you to a friend who thought I had something to say because I didn't think I could do it. And I am so what is the word I'm looking for now? I am so blessed to be able to do this and enjoy doing it. The research, the people I've talked to, the interviews that I've had, that it's a new page for me. Remember, I told you it's a new page that I have opened, and I'm glad that I opened it. I'm glad of where it's going, and I pray that next year it's going to go really big. This year again, I wrote a book. For those of you who don't know, I'm actually more a children's person than an adult person. So I wrote a devotional for children. There it is, yes, and it's also going places. And I find that it's not just the children who are reading it that are being changed; it's the adults who are getting understanding. This book in itself is a testimony of how it came to be. I did myself this year, and I actually have very vivid memories of where I was this time last year, and I'm like, wow, only God could have done this, and only God has done this. So I give all the glory, I give all the praise to God. I did nothing by myself. I did nothing through my own strength, through my own understanding. I did everything to God, and I give Him the glory. Now, let me look at the things my words that I have to eat. And it goes with this year. This year, there's been a lot of people dying, and that's really why I've not done any video posting. I just couldn't, it just felt wrong somehow to actually go and put on makeup and sit in front of a screen. But I've lost people this year, all of them younger than me, and it just threw me a curve that I wasn't expecting. I'm not one. I don't. When people die, I don't know how to explain it without offending other people. But when people die, I don't see it as wrong, except if it's when old people die. I'm fine with it. People of a certain age, I think they've lived their lives. They need to go home and rest. But when young people die, I can't deal with it. And especially when it's someone younger than me. And the people that have died this year were not sick. It was unexpected. One especially was so unexpected. And even though I've not seen the individual in a while, I still can't. I just stopped. It's like my brain just stopped at a particular point, and I can't go forward in what I need to do. And now I look at people who had to go through COVID, people dying during COVID. I think maybe I would have understood it a bit more. Maybe I'll have coped better if it was COVID that took them away, but it wasn't COVID. It's like, for me, young people dying during a time of peace, because this is not war. So young people dying during a time of peace, I just cannot cope with it. It's been really stressful. I'm trying to manage it by talking about it to people, and hoping that the more I talk about it, the easier it will be. But it's just not easy. It's just not easy, and it brings me to the things that I have to take back. In some of my earlier videos, in two of them actually that I'm going to look at, I spoke about some emotional stuff that my child was going through, and I actually called it a mess, But I see now that the COVID has changed things around. Children had a lot of external way to express themselves. That having been home for 2 years before we were let out again, that thing that they had to cope with is not there anymore. They don't know how. They're easily overwhelmed. Let me put it that way. They're easily overwhelmed these days. Sometimes I find my child is crying. I say, why are you crying? What are you crying for? And I'm cross. And then she says, I don't know why I'm crying. I'm just crying. And I'm beginning to see that she doesn't know how to deal with the emotions of the things that are happening around her, the things that she's hearing, the things that she's seeing. We've actually stopped listening to the radio because it seems everything that didn't bother her before, it's now just too much. It's just too much for the young mind to cope with. And I realized how insensitive I must have been to our emotions, because I'm looking at a little person, and that's what I'm seeing, that it's a child. But that child has a mind, that child has emotions, and I just didn't realize how much it has been on how much the whole environment, the whole being cooped up, the whole not being able to see people, not traveling. I know the borders have been open and people have been traveling, but we haven't traveled. We haven't seen family in a while, and everything is affecting or has affected her. So we're going through everything with prayers, and it's working. Prayers always work. Another thing is, I spoke about children having spa days for the birthday, and how I felt. If I didn't say it, I actually felt it was a ridiculous thing and a waste of money and all of that. But then my child has had a spa birthday, and when I went in looking at these young children having massages, which I thought before was ridiculous. Even on the day, I was going around looking at them, just gauging their reactions, and I thought I would hear a lot of giggling. I thought it would be just fun stuff for them, but these children were lying down quietly. They were peaceful. I mean, their faces, the look on their faces, even though their eyes were closed, it was just peace, rest. And when they came out, I heard one of them saying, "Oh, that was the best," telling her mom, that was the best feeling of all. It was so good. So not just their emotions have been shut down. Even their physical, the physical body have experienced stress. And I never thought this would be for a child. Again, I didn't think of the fact there was nowhere for them to express themselves. There was no running around, and it was just all bunched up. And now I am changing my mind. I'm eating my words, and I'm thinking maybe this is something that needs to be done every quarter for the child just to be stretched. Maybe I'll do it in my house by myself, but I think they need that release just as much as adults need the release. Maybe they do need that release. So let's look into that. The next thing I want to talk about is the Oxford. I'll leave the word of the years for the last. I was speaking to a friend last week or sometime recently, and this friend said, oh, they wrote a long list of the things that they want. They want either they want to do or things they want, material things they want or spiritual, everything that they want, they wrote it out. And it was such a long list. And I said, I don't think I have that many things that I want anymore in life. Because the older I get, I realize the older I get, the things that I want, my list actually gets smaller and smaller. I'm not talking about my, my bucket list. No. Those bucket are the things I want to do. And yeah, I might be able to do them and I might not. But the things that I really want in life, it's almost like when they ask beauty pageant contestant whether they say, peace, world peace. I do want world peace, but I think mostly I just want peace. I want contentment. I want for my child not to grow up in a crazy world because I don't know where we're going. I don't want Roberts to be leading the world with my child. I don't want all these antichrist things to be the life that I'm going to live for my child. I want a revival. I actually do want a revival, a godly revival, because we're moving so far away from God. The world is moving far away from God. We're accepting all sorts of stuff for whatever reason. We are leaning not just backwards, we're about to fall now if you're not falling already, to accept, to be inclusive. And some of these things are totally antichrist. They are totally antichrist. There's some inclusive things that I understand, like I used to not understand the emotions. Again, I'm going back to emotions. The emotions that people who used to be called hermaphrodites, are going to. But now the intersex, that's what it is now, the intersex. I have actually looked at pictures. I had to, because I had to understand what is this and why do we need to make room for them. And I have a better compassion for people who are like that now, because it has nothing to do with them. They had nothing to do with it to be born intersex. But there are others that I am like, what on earth is going on? People have become their own religion, their own God. And when I say that, it's not in the way that Christ says we are like him. It's in the way that they want to make their own decisions. And whatever it is they say is right. And we're allowing more and more things. I have things that I need to explain to my child over and over, or things that I'm shielding her from. And people are saying, no, you shouldn't. But I should shield her from this, because she's too young to understand it and make her own decisions. I'll give an example. I'll look for the link. There was a principal in the school in America who said that he is proud of when he's teaching kids. I'm paraphrasing now, of when he's teaching kids about sex and alternative sex life and alternative sexual orientation. And you're teaching this to children. I don't want anybody to tell my child any alternative way to be. There is a way that is right unto man, and it is not right unto God. I want her to know the way that is right unto God. But we're allowing it. We're thinking it's progressive. We need to go and check why we think this is progressive. What is progressive about it? It can, in a place where there is no law, there can be no offense, and that's where we're going. And yes, I'm doing a little bit of preaching, I see. And when the Israelites, when they went there, to not having a law, to not having a king, to not everybody made their own rules. Isn't that it? And when you all make your own rules, it's going to be chaos. It's going to be chaos. There's no way you can get away from it. It's going to be chaos. Where are we going? Where are we going? This is a wrap up, right? So, for those of you who don't know, which I'll be very surprised if there's anybody listening to this who doesn't know, every year there's a word of the year chosen by the dictionaries. This year, this time I'm going to look at 4 different dictionaries. Normally, I just follow, what is Oxford of the word dictionary, word of the year, and all of that. But this year, I read, someone sent me this and said, gobbling is Oxford's dictionary word of the year. And I said, gobbling, isn't that like an oral fantasy thing? And he said, no, this is what they chose. And I wondered why. And I asked people around me, and nobody's heard of the word gobbling being used. There was gaslighting, which everybody's heard about gaslighting. But the one that is actually, I don't know if I should say ridiculous or if I should say yay, is the word woman. The word woman has been chosen by a particular, I'm going to read it out because this is not something that I can make up. Has been chosen by a dictionary as their word of the year. And they even told us what a woman is. Let's go. So I'm going to start with 1. Let's start with the gobbling. Okay. So gobbling mode is what Oxford Dictionary chose. And it says to be in a gobbling, Goblin, gobbling mode is a type of behavior which is unapologetically self-indulgent, lazy, sovereign, or greedy, typically in a way that rejects social norms or expectations. Isn't this when I see it described like this, I can say, yeah, this is about all, not the lazy part, but people choosing to be selfish, to look after themselves. I don't know what being locked up has done to people. Behaviors went out of the window. People have no respect for other people. People have no consideration for others. And I'm saying people in a general way. Obviously, not all of us are like that. But this has happened a lot. I didn't know there was a word for it. But to be in a gobbling mood is to be unconditionally self-indulgent. Okay, it's not like when you're eating chocolate just for yourself or taking a bath just for yourself. And then, so that's the Oxford Dictionary. And then there's permacrisis. Permacrisis was chosen by the Collins Dictionary, and it means an extended period of instability and insecurity. I can understand that because you think COVID is over, but there's the after effect of COVID. We didn't have a nuclear war. We didn't have a nuclear bomb thrown anywhere, but the emotional after effect, even the physical after effect, the mental after effect, because now there are a lot of people dealing with depression. There are lots of people dealing with anxiety. There are lots of people, and not just adults, children as well, dealing with depression. They are depressed. When you think of people who are killing themselves, Twitch, I can't read it. When I was told that he committed suicide, I just said, no, it can't be. I mean, I don't know him, and yet I feel like I know him. He's bubbly. I wanted to be able to dance like him. I wanted to be able to move like him. And I don't even want to know what happened, because I realize now that everything that we see, it's really like gold. What is this saying? Everything that glitter is not gold. Everything that I see is not what it is, which I should know as an adult. But I don't want to read it. That's how bad I feel. I don't want to read it. And I felt even worse when I heard that he had children and a wife. I'm thinking their Christmas is never going to be the same again. But then that's a selfish mode, isn't it? To think of, I thought, oh, now they're never going to be able to have Christmas without thinking that's when their father died. That's when the husband died. And I can't say that it was selfish of him, because I have no idea what he was going through. I have no idea what he was going through. But that's it. There's an insecurity that came with COVID because he didn't know who could die. I know families where who we thought was the most healthy of the family died, and those who you thought, oh, they already had pre-existing condition, but they didn't die. And there are things that COVID has left behind. For those of us who had COVID, you will know and I don't know if it's amazing or incredible tiredness that you get. It can't be explained. You have to experience it, where you have to sleep. You just have to sleep. And you think it's all gone with the COVID. But then some other things are there. There is the breathing, the lungs that they're finding out that some people, their lungs have been forever permanently altered or damaged. They can never actually be like they were before COVID again. So I can understand perma crisis, an extended period of instability and insecurity. You don't know what's around the corner. You just don't know. And then we have the Webster Dictionary, which was gaslighting. We all know what it took me a while because I wasn't talking about, because anyway, it took me a while to get to this, but it means manipulating a person by psychological means into questioning his or her own sanity. It's easy to gaslight people because of everything that has been going on since 2020. It's easy to gaslight people, and someone who's already been manipulative can find it easy also to gaslight others. Now, the most I don't know what word to use, but the word of the year from dictionary.com is woman. Yes, WOMAN, woman. And they define it for us: an adult female person. I thought, really, did we need it defined? If it was woman, as in what we stand for as a woman, I think I would have appreciated it more. But they went on to say, to emphasize that the word belongs to each and every woman, however they define themselves. And then they spoiled it for me there. That just spoiled it for me totally. That's defining yourself. An adult female person. That's a woman. An adult, yeah, I'm reading it correctly. An adult female person, if I needed the definition. So if you're an adult female person, you're a woman. I thought we should just end the year on something light and something to smile at. I feel and I sympathize with all those who have lost people this year, because I know what it is like. Please get counseling, please get therapy. Some countries, it's easier than others to get counseling. It's easier to get therapy than other places. Please don't look at the color of our skin. I know Black people, we don't like, and especially Black people in Africa, we're not into therapy, we're not into counseling. But you know what? It works. It helps. Please do it. I heard of a therapy called EMDR, eye movement desensitization and reprocessing therapy, which is a mental health treatment technique. Maybe that's what you need. Maybe it will work for you. Try it out, read about it, but take care of yourself. Christmas is next week. Actually not next, it's on Sunday, so it's just around the corner, which means the new year is also just around the corner. It's just next month. It's in about 12, 13 days and we're there. Take care of yourself. Follow Coffee with Temi on podcasts. I'm everywhere. Apple, Google, iTunes, Samsung, Amazon Music, in TuneIn Radio, name it, I'm there. There's some really wonderful things that can help your career, can help you emotionally, can help family. If you haven't bought my book for your children, buy it. Order it now, buy it. It's on Amazon if you're not in South Africa. If you're in South Africa, send me an email and I'll get it to you. And thank you. Thank you for having stayed with me. I didn't know where I was going with Coffee with Temi, but here I am. I think I've had my second year birthday now. Thank you, everyone who stayed. God bless. See you next year.